Mm. Hey everybody, welcome to Conscious Talk TV, and I'm your host Linda Summers, and we are providing information to bring awareness to humanity with our guest experts. And today I have Anthony Leland on the show, and our topic is Mastering Sovereignty in the Quantum Financial System. So I'd first like to welcome Anthony to the show. Hi Anthony.
Hello, everybody. How are you all? Hope you're all keeping well.
Thank you for being here. And I just first want to say my apologies to everyone because we were supposed to start at 11:30 and we had some technical difficulties that appeared to be deleted from Facebook. Um, so we had to start at 11:55. So with that being said, yeah, we're here now. And, um, as you notice, I didn't really introduce him with any titles because as Anthony and I were talking, there is no such thing as titles. And that's really kind of a perfect example of how we have gotten programmed, which is what we're going to really be talking about today and many other things besides that. So I kind of want to go into, Anthony, with the whole how we got controlled. We can even talk about the time because, as you mentioned before, there's really no time. So,
Yeah, sure. So, on the sense of time, or um, have I lost you? You still there?
yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So, well, uh, on the sense of time, there is no time. Time is a conscience that has been implanted into the minds of human beings to represent a sort of a slave system where the time is constantly in your head, where you're always have to be on time in the time zone. But there is no time. It doesn't exist. It goes by cycles. Everything exists in the universe by cycles. So each cycle represents a movement of evolution. That's how it works.
Okay. And that kind of goes into really about the whole control and the programming. I mean, didn't that all get kind of put in at the very, very beginning?
Yeah, yeah, they did. Yeah, and there's a lot of things that go in with it. There's a lot of poisons put into your toxins put into your food, your water, your air. They have implants in the body, viruses in the body that control the conditioning of the mind. So you think a certain way, you act a certain way towards others, and this is how you give your energy towards others.
Can I go back really quick and just ask you on, you mentioned the implants in the body. How did are those there from the foods and from the air? Is that how they
Yeah,
got in
from the
there?
air, bioengineering from chemtrails, which is sprayed all over the planet to try to um, drench the planet with heavy toxins. So the natural organic substance of the universe sort of disintegrates into this synthetic substance, which takes away our divine divinity. So we can't connect it to the source of prime creator, the source of all life, to the source of all life. Every organic human being connected to the source of all life. You're you're not you're a being in a body. Your body is a suit that permits you to be here in a third dimensional realm, which makes you able to touch, sense, see, and feel in the sense of understanding emotions.
Mhm. So, we talk about the whole control. So that's part of that. But can we go back to sort of like the beginning of we know that I've heard this, that the radio, the TV, all the sound waves we're being programmed. We've been programmed through commercials, um, through other
Yeah.
avenues of the government, just in general. Can we really kind of go? So I think people have an idea that we have, because that's in order to get to the mastery of sovereignty. It's like to really realize that we have been controlled all this time and programmed to be able to have them, keep us confined.
Yeah, so it's like a record. It plays over and over and over. It's just like the seasons where you have celebrations. The celebrations continue to play over and over and over. And these celebrations have huge impact on the actual cabals reaching a timeline that they want to reach to stay in control, because everybody gives their energy to them under these celebrations, under programming of TV, under the raw material that exists on the planet. The cabal were using these raw materials for their advantage, for you to have wants and not being able to access these wants. So the more you couldn't access these wants, the more you wanted it, and the more you tried to have it. It could be anything, the new gadgets and stuff. But everything was forfeited to suppress the being to give their energy away and not to rule over their own sovereignty and their own divinity. You are the original blueprint of yourself. You are connected to the divine creator of all things. And you need to access this again. And this is what's coming about today. Today, things are going to change and you're going to regain your sovereignty and you're going to step into your divinity. And when you step into your divinity, you become sovereign. And as you become sovereign, you start to realize how powerful that you are as a human being, because you're the image of Prime Creator. Every organic human being is. Now, there's on the other side, there's the synthetic side, which they have developed to counteract and to dumb down the human being and thinking that he's worthless. This is an ongoing thing. It's an ongoing program that exists everywhere in the world. And they do it through religions, they do it through culture, they do it through science, they do it through so many different things, education. And there's always a leader, there's always someone leading somebody and trying to control power. But what they were doing was they were stealing this power from everybody else. Mm-hmm. And this power will be taken off them and given back to the people, because really at the end of the day, the power belongs to the people, for the people, to the people. And to step into your sovereignty, you need to understand that you're a divine being. You're a god and a goddess. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring everybody into the fourth dimension of reality. So people will be able to see what has been hidden from you by these beings that are here. And they have taken the power away from humanity and kept it for themselves. And there's a lot of other things that's been going on as well through the child trafficking. All the bad things, if you like, the gun trafficking, drug trafficking, child trafficking. They do certain, in order to stay in power, it's done by black magic. It's done by satanic rituals. And they have to have a sacrifice. So this sacrifice goes into a very, it's a very specific set of rules and protocols that they have to follow. And what the population don't understand is they need their consent in order for this to happen. Now, they ask for their consent in different ways by lying to you and putting it in a sense of a reverse, so you don't see the truth. and you give the consent without even knowing that you're giving the consent because you don't speak up. So if you see a crime being committed and you say nothing, well then you're more involved in that crime than the person who's committing the crime because you're keeping silent about it. Therefore, you're letting the crime be more than what it is. So you're more involved in that crime than the person actually having the rage at that present moment that is not in a state of sane sanity. So this needs to be understood as well. So as we bring you into the fourth dimension and we open up what is not seen by the seeing eye, there's much more to see on the unseen eye than there is of the seen eye. So as people start to realize and see things and the truth comes out, because we're going to bring out the truth. This is all about bringing out the truth. And as the truth comes out, people will start to realize that they are much more than what they are. And then as they go through the fourth dimension of reality, they will regain their sovereignty, and they will start to understand how to step into the divinity of their essence, of their pure divine right of a god and a goddess, because you're all god and goddesses. You have your kingship and your queenship. And, you know, this needs to be understood by everybody. Now, there is other beings on the planet as well that are not organically human. They're synthetic. There's many different types. There's clones, there's cyborgs, there's so many different things. But they will fade out because the energy that's coming in from Prime Creator is is resonating on a very high uh, frequency. And this frequency, when you can't sustain the frequency, they'll fade out. So this is what's going to happen, and everybody's going to see this. So this is going to be a big event, the biggest event that's ever occurred on humanity. It's a good thing for everybody.
Yes, yes. Well, and they've used a lot of fear too. We talked about that yesterday. There's a lot of fear that has been instilled in us as well.
Absolutely. It's all based on fear. So fear will stop you from doing the right thing or speaking up or anything at all. Once you have fear inside you. Now, fear comes from a lot of different things. Fear can be based on programming from TV, films, real life. People go to bed and they literally lock themselves in a cell. They shut down everything. They lock themselves in. So they're locking themselves in a cell. Really, that's what because of fear. They're terrified of the unknown. They're terrified of whatever because they've been programmed that way. They've been programmed to be afraid of everything. So that will subside as we step into the fourth dimension of reality. Right now, we are stepping into that dimension. We've been living in the third dimension of reality for a very long time, and third dimension on the frequency resonates about 14 hertz. So you can't really, and they used a lot of chemicals, synthetic chemicals, to stop you connecting from your higher self. So that's what they've done. Now this is all being eliminated, and the toxins are being cleaned up all over the planet, and they're going to replenish the seas with the fish and put back everything to its original state. This will be done very quickly.
So when you're talking about the energy, so we're in that right now where that's going to all start to change, and we're going to start to see the truth starting to come out due to these energies that are in. I know Rick and I have been talking about that as well. So this is a really powerful time is what you're saying, and that's going to help with this transition.
Oh, absolutely. Every individual, now this is an individual basis. This is when the individual wakes up to their true self. They start to awaken by themselves. It's not something that's going to be, forced on you or anything like that. You will awaken by yourself to your own divinity, your own truth, and you'll awaken through your dream state. When you go to bed at night, you rest your body. you never die. You're always alive. You're a spirit. You're a being, a very powerful being. But in the physical body here on the planet, you come here to experience life and to understand pain and suffering, and also to have an amazing life as well. That's what you're here for. But we've been counteracted by a dark beings. Now, having said that, all dark beings are gone from this universe. Every single one, light body and other. The only uh, beings that are left are the millions that worked for these people, these other beings, and the cyborgs and the clones and all that type of stuff. But they will fade out eventually. These are the guys that are working in the banks, they're working in governments, they're working in labs and stuff like that. But they're all destroyed now. All the underground labs, they're all destroyed. They're all dismantled. So right now we're going to go into phase 2, and we're going to bring the truth out about everything that's been going on. And people are going to be in a big shock, a huge shock. The angels and the light workers, the ones that are already awake, they will pass forward to the next stage in helping the cleanup and bringing every healing. Because you're all healers. You're all you have great gifts. Everybody's got great gifts when they're born. They're born with gifts to help others and to improve life and to have a better life. You're all love beings. It's what you're created from. You're created from unconditional love.
Yeah.
And this has been counteracted by the dark with low vibrations, which consist of negativity, fear, hate, jealousy, all these type of things, which encloses a human being into a low frequency. In a low frequency, you will never ever access a higher frequency or take part in the galactic beings with sharing technology and sharing the divinity of greatness, which you are, which everybody is.
Yeah. Well, and two, that we have heard about the human trafficking, the Pizzagate. There's things that have come out, so we are starting to. And one thing I want to mention too, you mentioned yesterday that about Donald Trump, that he is bringing back the Constitution. That he really what it was really meant to stand for, that really didn't happen. That kind of got switched around, but he's.
Yeah, the Constitution was taken over by the American corporation, and they ruled over America with the Trinity, which is the Washington D.C. and the Vatican and the royals. That was their trinity of under the satanic cult. Now, the President Trump has undo what they have done in the legislation. He's undone everything, and what he's done is he's given back to the people the Constitution of America, which was forefounded by the fathers. So America right now is sovereign, completely sovereign, where before it was owned by the corporations, and the corporations were stealing the money from America and all around the world, and they were using it for their own projects to kill the people of the population so they could take over the planet for themselves.
Yeah.
This will not happen.
Yeah. Thank goodness. Yeah. So then kind of, thank you for sharing that. And then kind of going back again, I just want to just touch on this and you can elaborate on it. But, I think what's important as well is for people to understand when we talked about the use of language, how they've even changed the use of language, that's another way of control, which I never even thought about until you mentioned it yesterday.
Yeah, they use certain types of language, and they change the language for people to be more and more dumbed down. You have to understand words are spells, and they're very powerful. Your thoughts are very powerful. They echo through the whole universe, and the universe gives you what you want. So, with all this mumble jumble going in your head, you're constantly asking the universe for something different all the time because your mind's being changed through the programming, not even realizing that this has happened. And they do change the wording on on certain things so you wouldn't realize what's been going on. Like I was saying to you the last time about shell shock. So back in World War II, you know, when someone came home from the war, they were shell shocked, you know, from trauma. They were traumatized to see the actual horrific horror that was displayed on humanity in that war. And as we moved forward in the future, they changed that shell shock to collateral damage, which has nothing got to do with shell shock. So basically, by saying collateral damage, you're just basically swiping past the horror and leading into something else. So I'm just on an interview here. Can you just give me 10 minutes, please? Thanks. Um, so things like that, in that sense, changes the perception of a mind to really understand what sovereignty is. Because most people talk about sovereignty over a government. The government has no right to have any sovereignty. Nobody has no right to have any control over anybody. They never did and they never will. It's an illusion. And people play into this illusion over fear because fear is the only thing they can actually have you on. Without fear, they can do nothing, absolutely nothing.
Right.
They base everything on fear. And fear comes from energetically comes from a lot of things. One of them is flesh. I'm going to touch on this. Okay.
Yes.
So as we go through the ages, we used animals for the purposes of surviving and nourishing our bodies. And they took this to a next level in the sense where they mistreated the animals. They gave them poison and toxins. And as these animals were slaughtered and they drew their last breath in fear, when the person comes along and eats the flesh, it's not just full of toxins, but also energetically, it has tons of fear in it. So when you eat the flesh of that animal, you take in the energetics in the animal as well, not just the toxins. It's riddled with every known toxin on the planet and toxins that's been created in labs that nobody knows about that is in your body. Some of these toxins are nanobots. That these nanobots are created by the Freemason Lodge, which is the Jesuits connected to the Vatican. They rule the world banks and they rule the money source and everything else that has to do with the dark agenda. Um, these devices, nanobots, are very small, microscopic nanobots, basically. And what they do is they control the body and they control the mind through the programming of the TV, radio, and other education, other forms of development, if you like. So you stay away from your sovereignty. You don't rule over yourself, your kingship, your queenship. You put yourself down all the time and you dislike yourself. This is what they want. This is how they want you to feel. So we're going to reverse all this. You're going to feel brilliant about yourself. You're going to love yourself. This is very, very important. If you can't love yourself, how are you supposed to love someone else? How are you supposed to express true, divine, unconditional love? That's where you came from. You were created in that. You are all love beings. That's why everybody at some stage loves something. Do you want to be in love? Do you want to have a relationship of divine love? They think about it all the time, but it never happens because they don't step into divinity. They don't rule over their own sovereignty. And they give their energy away constantly every single day to others. And this is has to be recognized, you know.
Mhm.
And consent, you have to understand, people give consent to these people without even knowing they're giving consent.
Yeah.
And people need to realize that, you know, they need to realize it. Governments don't have control over nothing. They're, you know, they they do it by force over the people because they have more money, they have more control, they have more resources, and they keep people in a box. They make legislations, rules, regulations, so they stay in that box and they don't come out of the box. But this time we're opening the cell gates and we're letting everybody out. You're free.
Yeah.
You're going to be free. Everybody's going to be free to do what they want. Now, on the sense of free will has been changed. I'm going to announce this tonight.
Thank you. Yeah.
On this particular planet on the surface, free will was completely liberal to everybody. Everybody had the free will to do what you want, take life, give life. Now, the ascension process is based on the universe, and it's based on the everybody moving up a notch, if you like, in a sense where um, in the royal kingdom of heaven, in the realms, Prime Creator has handed everything down to Lord Sanandra. Lord Sanandra is prime sovereign ruler over Neptune universe, and he has changed free will. You're not allowed to take life anymore or harm yourself, but you can do anything else you wish. So these will be broadcasted very shortly to humanity. So no more killing, no more suffering, and no more pain.
Mm.
We'll be introducing humanity to new technology that will heal the body, reverse aging. We have technology called replicators that will replicate clothing, food, and other items that you would need as a necessary daily basis to live. We'll also be bringing in med beds, which will heal any disease because most diseases are created in labs, especially for the pharmaceutical companies. They create these diseases so they could sell the medication to counteract the disease, in a sense, to keep the disease at a minimum so they could make a fortune on it. There's no profit in healthy people, and they're
Right.
not
Mm.
concerned about having healthy nations. They're concerned about having unhealthy nations, mentally, physically, and every other way. This is going to stop. All banking, all the banking systems that they put down in the world is corrupted. This is going to stop. And we're going to go into a new age, a fourth dimension reality for most of the people. And then the angels and the ascended masters, they'll all reside in the fifth dimension. And we're going to bring everybody into the fifth dimension of reality, of Christ consciousness. And everybody must pass through Lord Sananda. A lot of people think Christ consciousness is, it's a state of consciousness, which it is. It's a state of consciousness, and everybody has it in them. It's in your heart. It's not in your mind. It's in your heart. And as we bring you into the fourth dimension of reality, your heart chakra and other chakras will open. So you'll be able to absorb more love and express more love until you step into your divinity of your true self. And when you step into your divinity of your true self, your memory will come back to who you really are as a being, as a divine being, as a god, as a goddess. And then when you go into the fifth dimension of reality, we'll bring you up to the other dimensions slowly, the sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, and 10th dimensions. and that'll take some time to get there, but it goes on for an infinity.
Yeah.
Never stops.
Can I go back to when you were talking with the Christ consciousness, where you were saying yesterday it's the higher self descending into the physical body? So I think that's
Yeah,
important
so
to say as well. Yeah.
first time ever, for the first time, your higher self is going to ascend into your physical body, and your physical body is going to be crystalline, and it's going to be crystal liquid. So you're going to go from carbon to crystal liquid.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you will come internal in your physical body. So you ascend with your physical body, your suit. This is your suit. This is your space suit, and you'll be able to travel anywhere in the universe with it. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Now
Really cool. Yeah.
it's always been that way. It's new to the population because they've been in captive, enslaved for a very long time. But before that, you were all gods and goddesses walking around on the planet in Atlantis and Lyria. And this time is going to come back again. And you're all going to see with your eyes. You're going to be able to touch it. You're going to be able to smell it. And you're going to be 100% convinced what it is. There's no more illusions anymore. You know, the dark were experts on duplication, mirror image, and illusions. And they've been exploiting these illusions for such a long time. And this is all going to come to an end because we're going to expose everything. The truth is going to be exposed. That's why they have all these indictments, because these indictments are being unsealed right now. And all these people that most people believed in and they looked up to have committed huge crimes against humanity, huge, horrific crimes against humanity. And these are going to be exposed and they're going to be dealt with. Yeah.
So because that's going to lead us actually into the mastering the sovereignty, but I want to, talk about, is there anything that we need to do? Because I know the energies are here, they're coming in, and we're going to be lifted from this and things are going to happen. But I feel that somehow we need to still do our part as remaining in a positive state, releasing all these last remaining remnants of negativity. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Okay. So, well, that as time goes in now, people will waken up and they'll start to understand what I'm saying to themselves. They'll wake up to their own truth. This is not someone
Yeah.
coming along forcing to do something or, a new age religion or anything like that. This is truth coming to the surface in
Yeah.
the plant mother Gaia, in the human beings. And each individual will wake up to their own truth. And as they wake up to their own truth, they'll understand their divinity. They'll understand their higher self, because that's what they're waking up to. They're waking up to their higher self. Now the veil is lifting because they put a sort of like dark black magic all over the world. And it stopped people from accessing their higher divinity. They were enchained in slavery and into a debt system slavery. So this is going to be evoked by Prime Creator. And
Wonderful.
yeah, it's great news
Yeah,
for everybody.
it is.
Really.
And absolutely. So I want to go into mastering our sovereignty and what we can, you touched on that a little bit, but I just want to read, I looked in the dictionary to find out what that word meant. And I thought it was, quite fascinating, and just to kind of, a lot of people probably already know what it means, but um, it's a jurisdiction, a rule, a supremacy, dominion, power, ascendancy. It's a state of authority. So that's what you're saying. It's our authority to rule over our own selves. That's what sovereignty
Yeah,
is.
absolutely.
Yeah.
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 No one has the right
Uh,
to interfere
yeah.
with another unless they
Yeah.
have given access
100%.
to do so.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. So, and it's all about freedom. It gives us freedom to be able to,
Yeah.
rule over ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. To rule over your own divinity, to stand in your integrity and understand who you are. You're a very supreme being, and that needs to be known for everybody to understand that. So what they did was energetically they separated and suppressed the feminine, and the feminine was suppressed so badly that it became a second-class citizen towards the masculine, and the masculine was heightened by ego, which totally took them off to a different direction, which made them lost in their divinity because the ego took over and they suppressed femininity. Now these energies are being replaced back to its original state of consciousness. So the feminine will rise and the masculine will come down to a caliber. So each male and female will be balanced with both feminine and masculine energies to step into the divinity of divine unconditional love, where you originally came from.
Yeah.
And we're here to help. We're here to help each other. That's what we're here for. We're here to guide each other. And we from the kingdom of heaven and the light workers and the angels are all here to bring everybody home and to end pain and suffering.
Yeah.
So you can take part into the universe, into the galactic alliances that are there, that always been there. They've been there for forever.
Yeah.
There's no big bang. There's no um, the things that science say and stuff like that. It's a ceiling. It's a caging, so people don't step out of that cage and understand they're the divine beings. And once you understand that, and you have the most purest intentions for everybody, then you'll be allowed to take part in the galactic realms and share knowledge and visit other universes and experience other beings and technology. And it's absolutely amazing. Mm-hmm.
Well, we've been conditioned. We talked about this yesterday. We've been so conditioned for so long that, we talked about the first step is really awareness to realize that we are giving our energy, right? And to stop giving that energy and to stop putting ourselves in that fear. So,
Yeah.
do you have any other suggestions on that as to how one can do that? Because we have been so conditioned, so embedded, and, like you were talking about the governments have no power over us, but yet we, as I shared with you yesterday, there's so much fear that it's like, oh my gosh, they're going to come and handcuff me or whatever. So, but when we know we have that divinity, which there's a part of us that knows that, but then that condition has been so embedded. So how can we lift that from us,
Well,
So you guys are there to help us, I know.
Yeah, the population is going to be helped to do that, and like I say, each individual will wake up to their true, true self, and their higher self will be connected to them. So they'll be able to understand a little bit more as they go through the fourth dimension of reality, and what they couldn't see, they will start to see, and when they start to see it, then they're going to be more concerned about their own self and their own divinity and their own sovereignty. And when these things come into play and they start to understand, then they're going to step in to their sovereignty. And the banking system is going to change. We have a new quantum financial system. Now, for a little bit more of an understanding, the new quantum financial system is not what people may think it is. It's organic. Everything is organic. It is the way the universe works. The dark try to duplicate it into an authentic substance that has nothing got to do organic at all. So it's synthetic. So they're trying to manipulate the population in saying that synthetic is just as good as organic. And they were taking over the planet in doing that and making everything synthetic. So you would lose your divinity and you would completely, literally, wouldn't have a clue what divinity is. You wouldn't have a notion. And you'd be changing from organic to synthetic, with riddled with toxins, which would put you into a state of sickness with diseases and everything else. And this is what they've been doing. And these are all created in labs. You know, they spend a lot of time sitting around the table figuring out how they're going to put the population into extreme poverty. And that's what they've been doing, as you can see. Anybody with an open eye can see that, you know. So this is all going to change because we're going to expose the truth. And I mean we as in human beings, because the human beings themselves are going to wake up and they're going to see, okay, there's something really wrong here. This is not right. I can't put my finger on it, but I know it's not right. This is not the way to live. And they're waking up on a daily basis all over the world, and they know. And when in the very near future, everything's going to change. The banking system is going to unfold on itself. The stock exchange is going to unfold on itself because you can only lie so much before the truth comes out. You know, when you put lies on top of lies on top of lies on top of lies, at some point people go, oh, hold on a second. I can't be right. I can't be right. And as the energy comes in onto the planet and Mother Gaia raises her energy, because Mother is alive, she's a being like you and me.
Yeah.
She's divine and she's given and given and given and given to everybody for everything. Now she's healing and she's healing very nicely. And as she heals, she pushes up the energy that she's resonating on. And as the people start to awaken in their true divinity, they will resonate on this frequency that's been given out onto the planet. And the frequency that's coming in from our beloved Father is going to wipe out negativity. So when you're going to wake up in the morning, you're not going to be negative anymore. You're going to be positive because you're creators. It's what you are.
Yeah.
You're born to create your reality. You're born to express the gifts that you've been born with. Everybody's born with beautiful gifts. They're poets, they're singers, they're writers, they're entertainers, and this is what life has been given us. And we've been given everything. Everything was organic. And we are organic. So we have to live in an organic state for us to be healthy, to be supreme.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. So this is all going to be put back into its original state of consciousness because everything is energy. Everything is energy. So on the sense of money, funds is energy. So when you were born into the world, you were born into a state of energy for the planet. And what they done was they registered you with a birth cert, took the birth cert and put it on the stock market as energy. And this energy they used for themselves, for their own greed. And they didn't tell the person what they were doing. And they did it through the church, the religion, the cultures, the education, everything set up, and it changed over time. Because as people awakened over time, every couple of centuries, people who would waken up, they changed the rules, they changed things, thinking that the people won because they spoke out saying something's not right or whatever. So they changed it in a way where the people would think, oh, okay, we got our way now, we got what we wanted. But no, they just changed the cell around. That's all they done. You just put the other face that way, that face that way, and the people thought, oh, great, we got what we wanted. No, you're still in the cell. They haven't opened any door. You're still locked in. But this is going to change. It's going to change, and everybody's going to be unlocked. And when they're unlocked, then they start to understand their higher self. And when their higher self starts to awaken them, to their truth, not my truth, not your truth, their truth,
Yes.
then they will be ready for the fourth dimension, for the fifth dimensional reality of Christ consciousness. And when you reach Christ consciousness, divinity of your sovereignty, when you step into your sovereignty and you rule over yourself, you rule over your kingship, you rule over your your godness, because that's your divine right is to be a god. Now, a lot of people haven't arrived there yet, but they will eventually. When we bring us all into the fourth dimension will be an explosion of truth, and people are going to be in shock, huge shock. But the new financial system will assist everybody. There'll be no more poverty on the planet because poverty is an engineered device. It's been engineered. People sat around the table and they discussed how do we put people into extreme poverty. It's calculated. It's unbelievably calculated. So people will work every day hard and still have nothing. And they have a lot of people have amnesia. They don't remember their family's family that goes back generations. What happened to all that wealth that they worked for, that they gathered, that they built? What happened? It was just taken away from them.
Right.
So the people on the street that have no homes, the people that are poor, the people that are ill, the people that are in a situation that they can't defend themselves, it's all been planned. And then taking all these good men, really good men and good women, healthy women, what do? They put them in the army, sent them off to wars to get killed. And again, regain the funds so they can continue on with their agenda. This is what's going on globally all over the world. Now, this is all going to come to an end very, very quickly. It is already come to an end. It's just playing out in divine timing. And the Palladians are in charge at the moment. There's many star systems that collaborate as an alliance under the Galactic Federation and under Lord Sanandra and the Astral Command. There's only 4.5, well, 8.56, 8 billion people on the planet. There's about 4.5 billion people already awake, and the rest are asleep. Now, there's 64 billion human beings up in the ships, and that's just human beings. And then there's trillions of other beings that are in the ships, and there's other visitors here to watch the show. This is the biggest show that's ever taken place in the universe at this time. And there's people here, there's beings here, to observe and see how it's going to go down, because this is like the biggest thing ever. So it's a very exciting time for everybody. It really is. It's absolutely amazing. So what we want to put out here at this moment is fear. Stay away from fear. Drop the fear. Drop the things that do not serve you. Just drop them. Being around situations that cause drama, there's unnecessary hate, unnecessary fear and negligence. Drop all of that. Go into a place, stay in the heart. It's all about the heart. You have to descend from your mind to the heart. Your heart chakra is 100 times more powerful than the mind. And as your heart chakra starts to expand, you bring in more of that light and energy that is being received on the planet and it's coming up from the planet. You bring it into your body. And as you bring it into the body, you shine. You become you. You become the divine being that you are. And as you become this divine being, you're there to express and to give and to help everybody because you have the most purest intentions for everybody. Just imagine for 1 minute that every government on the planet had the most purest intentions for every human being on the planet. Yeah. It would change overnight. Boom. Yeah. Everything would change. We'd all wake up the next morning and everything would be different. But most of the governments in the world don't have pure intentions because they have too much ego, because they're all labeled Mr. this and Mr. that, and I'm way above you and you're only down there. And this is all separation. It's complete separation. We're all the same. We're all one. We're all one collective, and we're going to work together as a collective. and we're going to help everybody get back to their supreme being as they are. And this is what's going to happen, basically.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really cool, Yeah. So there's
I'm
nothing to be
excited.
afraid of. You gotta let fear go. You gotta let fear go. Fear will stop you from doing anything you wish to do. It'll stop you. You gotta be fearless, completely. Just let it go. It's an energetic energy. That's all it is, and it's the person that's generating the fear themselves. They generate it all by themselves. No one comes along and knocks on your door. Hello, I want to put fear in you today. No, you wake up and you're terrified for some reason. I don't know. But that's what happens. And a lot of things is because they don't watch what they're eating. They don't pay attention to what they're watching on the TV because it's like a record programming thing constantly all the time. And they have all these shows. I don't know about America or stuff like that, but they have these shows, these fear shows, creepy crawly shows and all these, fear things and drama things. And it's all over the TV. And people are laughing every day, 24 hours a day. And it's just going in there. And they play it all out. That's how it works. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to bring in a new quantum financial system that's going to eradicate this old debt system. Now, who owns the debt? The Federal Reserve owns the debt. They're responsible for the debt, not the people. There's nothing got to do with the people. They will never be able to pay back the money they owe because they owe the money to Prime Creator because he is the sovereign ruler over this universe, and he decides what goes and what doesn't go. Now, the Federal Reserve by themselves thought it was okay to print money out of the sequence that was supposed to be printed. So instead of printing 3 bills to one, they were printing 3 billion bills to one. And it was just money, derivatives on top of derivatives on top of derivatives. Now, having said that, they were using this money for their own space program. I mean, these guys could fly to Mars in 15 minutes, and yet they send up a rover. Well, they tell people they're sending up a rover to Mars, and they have this camera walking around. It's all a setup. While in the meantime, they're flying to Mars and back in Mars in 15 minutes because they have the technology to do so. And the things like CERN, they developed CERN in Geneva for several reasons. But what they were doing was they were trying to rip holes in different realms so they could bring down very dark beings to help them continue on with their plan. This is not going to happen. This has been revoked. Any dark agenda has been revoked. Every dark being has been taken away and put back to the creation of light. Right now, we're at a stage where we're going to expose the human beings to help these people, help these other beings to do horrific crimes against humanity. All these beings are going to be exposed through the indictments that are unsealed. They're already unsealed. And there's a lot of things are happening behind closed doors on the political levels to get everything ready for a GCR. And when NASTRA is announced all over the world, it'll be announced in America first. It is a national economical security agreement agenda for everybody. This is for everybody to be treated all equal as human beings, to live in a daily life of pureness and happiness, so they can be creative. See, this is what they took away from us. They took away the creativity. You were not allowed to express your creativity because of the programming. So if a little child is running around and saying, "Oh, mommy, I've seen angels. Oh, mommy, I've seen fairies," the mother or the father freak out. You can't be saying that. You can't be saying that. But it's true. She did say it. Why did she say it? Because she's pure. She hasn't been infested with all these toxins. She's pure. She's energetically pure, so she can see very clearly what creation has given her. But because the parents have been dumbed down and they've been put into a programming system, that's all. So child then doesn't know what to do, because what she sees in reality, she's trying to explain to her mom, but her mom can't see it because her mom has been poisoned with toxins and education that has turned her away from her true self. So this is all changing now. You know, everything is changing, and the planet will be put back to its original state. So in the meantime, stay away from OGMs, genetically modified food. I know it's in everything, really, in everything. It's very difficult, because everything is, you know, like the land is poisoned. There's no real pure organic seeds from the original creation. They're all kept in a vault in North Pole, a huge, massive vault. All the organic seeds of the planet are there, and these guys put them there, hoping when they get rid of everybody, they'll take all them seeds out and they'll plant a kingdom on heaven here for themselves. This is what their plan was. It ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now they built several different structures underground, and they're all destroyed. They're all destroyed. That's what's going on for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I kind of want to go back to
Well, I kind of want to go back to
the financial quantum financial system. We're not going to have the actual tangible paper notes, is what we were talking about yesterday.
Okay.
Can you explain, elaborate on that, like how that's going to look, how that will work, so people have an understanding of that? Since if the banks are closing down, will people lose their money?
Yeah. Yeah, today the people work on a fiat system, which is a paper money, which is an IOU. Basically, it's an IOU to the bank, stating that they have asset-backed gold, and you can use this piece of paper for credit to exchange. Now, this is all lies. They don't have any gold. They don't have any tangible valuables to back the money up. So, like I say, the Fed has been printing massive amount of money that has no value whatsoever. The only value it has is you and me and everybody else, that they believe it has value. So if I go to the shop with €10 and I give to the shopkeeper accepts this credit because he believes that it has value for his goods. But in actual fact, it don't have any value. So the new system will be on the quantum financial system, and the quantum financial system is an organic, divinely orchestrated system from the realms, and this system will be connected to every system on the planet, and anybody that wants to access it will be they'll access it through their genetic signature. That's how they be recognized. And then when they touch off the card, it'll recognize their DNA, which will match both signatures. So you won't be able to access the financial system without your DNA. And your DNA then will recognize who you will forfeit the payment that you are due on a monthly basis. Now, some will have unlimited amount of funds, but the quantum system itself will have unlimited amount of funds. It'll be unlimited, and it'll be backed by real gold, by digital certificate gold exchanges. So people will have enough funds to express their creativity. This is for creativity. It's for replenishing the world. It's for eradicating poverty. It's for eradicating diseases. It's to buy out the pharmaceutical companies, to buy out the biofuel or the fossil fuel companies, oil, all these type of companies that are destroying the earth for wealth, and the cahooting they're doing. So this is all going to close down. We're going to be pretty upset about it, but that's the way it's going to happen. And people are going to do things for the benefit of everybody, not for their own greed, because that's what they're doing. They're doing everything for their own greed, and it caused mayhem. It plunged the world in pure darkness.
Yeah.
So as this energy comes in to the planet, which it's already here, I felt it today. You guys haven't felt it yet, but I felt it today. It was a big surge. You felt it, and the next couple of days, you're all going to feel it, and this is going to push even more the truth for the journalists, for the people who have been lying, in a sense. They've been given scripts. Let's go to vanish. They're going to speak the truth. They're going to speak it the way it is, and it's all going to come out. And as the enticements unseal, and we go into January, and then we're going to go into the serious stuff of trials. People are going to be shocked, absolutely
Yeah.
shocked.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing because we can reverse everything and put everything back to its original state of consciousness. And it's all about divinity. It's all about stepping into your sovereignty and understanding what that you are sovereign. You are sovereign, not a government. You are sovereign. And you have the right to that sovereignty, which includes your energetic funds. Because when you were born into an energetic world of creativity, and they put a price on your head, and they took that away and put it in the stock market for themselves. This is all going to unfold on itself, as the truth starts to. Well, there's very high beloved beings behind the scenes doing all of this, and it's
Yeah.
orchestrated by the Pleiadians at the present moment.
Yeah. Now you mentioned about the money. So when these systems in the card and what's going to have our thumbprint, which is connected to our DNA, will it be what we've had in the account, or there's going to be an establishment, or there's an unlimited amount of
Okay.
funds?
Everybody has a quota. Now, everybody will have an unconditional basic income. It doesn't matter what you earn or what you work or what you have. Now, when the system crashes and goes down and comes back online again, you will have the exact same currency in your account. It won't change. Whatever you have in your account will be there when the system comes back online. But you'll also be forfeited with an unconditional basic income every month for the rest of your life. This income will give you value of whatever you want to do. Now, other things will come into play with the new law. There'll be a complete debt jubilee, forgiveness. All debt will be wiped. So every individual will have the right to their own home. The necessary requirements for a human being to live on the planet will be free. Like food, there'd be no tax on food, there'd be no tax on any like housing, clothing, stuff like that. Completely tax free. And most of it will be free because the actual products that we have in the world today will go down because the new inventions that have been invented for a very long time, like free electricity, wireless electricity, and other inventions, have been suppressed for these cabal members to make huge, massive amount of money on something that's free. Like, for instance, water is free. Water is free, but they're charging you for it. Like,
Yes. Yes.
who's charging who for water? It doesn't
Yeah.
belong to you. It belongs to everybody, Like the land, they charge you for land. They put borders up and walls and, oh, this is mine.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's for everybody. It was given to everybody. So that's all going to come back into its original state of consciousness. And when people start to wake up to this, they'll want it more and more. They want their rights given back to them. It's very
Yes.
important. And when they start to understand that their sovereignty comes with funds to express their creativity, we're going to experience an amazing world and amazing technologies will be created from these people. Because a lot of these people have amazing ideas, but they can't put them into practice because they have no funds to do it in the first place. These funds will be allocated to everybody that wants to do these type of things, and they'll have enough funds to live a daily life without having to worry. Because worry puts a lot of um, it puts a lot of things on a lot of things that results into anxiety, depression. It just makes it worse. So when someone has no worries about how they're going to live, they express creativity and they step into the divinity and they have access to the divine realms of the higher self, their higher self. So their higher self will be able to connect to them. And then as they approach the fifth dimensional Christ consciousness, their their higher self will descend into their physical body, and you will rule over yourself, your kingship, your godship, and then you move on to the sixth dimensional realms. But that'd be, and then we'll all be taken off planet because the planet is going, Mother Gaia is going to expand, and everything is going to be destroyed. All the old is going to be completely destroyed. All old energetics completely destroyed, and that's how it's going to work. But that will be in
Now,
the
when you're
future.
okay, so when you're saying, well, okay, that's in the future, destroyed meaning like completely obliterated. You know what I mean? To me, destroyed means it's breaking down. You know, like our
It's going to
governments are
expand.
breaking down. They're
Oh, they'll be
creating
all
something
gone.
new. Oh,
No, they'll
all
be
that'd
all
be all
gone.
gone. Okay.
Yeah. Mother
So
Gaia
I wanted.
herself will.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned
Yeah.
yesterday Planet X. That's really what we're going to, and it's more of a tropical paradise. I mean, I really want to talk about this beautiful planet that you mentioned yesterday, which,
Yes.
um, you
Neptune is
know,
coming. She's been towed in. She's been towed in by the Astral Command, and as she's
yeah,
towed in, like Neptune, Planet X, most people know about, is on the other
yeah,
far side of the sun, and it's been towed in. And as it's towed in, the energetic level rises, and when she's nearly here now, she's not far off, and when she
yeah,
comes in, they decided to make the planet tropical for everybody and to have it in the most bliss state possible. So Neptune will conduct as a second sun, if you like, which will heat up the
mm,
planet. So there'll be no more night. It'll be just pure bliss day,
yeah, yeah,
and that's basically what. And she'll hang around for a while. She'll hang around for a while, and then when she moves off back to her position where she came from, that's when all of humanity will move into the fifth dimension of reality, of Christ consciousness
sweet,
in fifth
yes,
form. Yeah.
yes, I
Of
love
course,
it.
we
Well, I'm
have to
looking forward to
follow everything,
it.
tell the truth to
First,
everybody, and the division is going to happen. So people who won't be able to resonate on that high frequency, that you don't feel comfortable with it, they're going to go to a place that suits them best. Everybody is loved unconditionally. Doesn't matter who they are. They're
yeah,
loved unconditionally, and they have their own path of evolution. Everybody has their
yeah,
own path of evolution. And
yeah,
what's happening now is that we're coming together. Coming together as one, a collective as one, and we're starting to experience everything that is there, that has been hidden from us. So that's basically what's happening.
yeah. We have a question. Are the cryptocurrencies going to be part of the new Earth currency, which is what we talked about yesterday? So, can you mention some of those currencies that will be a part of that?
Yeah. So the basic
Thank you,
cryptocurrencies that
Philome.
would be under the system are.
Oh, we
Say
can't hear
again.
you. Oh, I was just saying
Oh.
thank you, Philome. She's the one that asked the question.
Oh, the basic cryptocurrencies that will be under the new financial system, the quantum system, will be Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ripple, XRP, and Ethereum. Now, all the other coins and all the other cryptocurrencies, they're just going to be wiped away completely off the sheets, the both platforms, because it's all the manipulation. Now, the reason why they're doing this is because nobody will be able to falsify the markets anymore. Nobody will be able to do corruption anymore. Nobody will be able to do bribes anymore because this is how they worked. You took the bribe or you took the bullet. It was as simple as that. And most people
Yeah,
took the bribe. Some didn't take the bribe; they took the bullet instead. And that's been expressed right now all over the world. People are starting to say, "Oh, this guy got assassinated. He got assassinated." It's because we're not accepting the bribe anymore, and this is all going to be exposed. So the new financial system will be a system that you will not be able to hack. You will not be able to forfeit. You will not be able to lie about. You will not be able to um, do any type of malicious dealings in your own self-interest. It is divinely orchestrated. If you have tons of funds in your account and you're squandering them funds for yourself, or you're allocating to an institution that is trying to secretly divide us, it'll be just wiped out, it'll be gone. If you're any type of malicious way of thinking and you're trying to cheat other people into taking their funds, and you manage to do so by being very clever, it'll be taken. It'll be gone. Now, the system is tokenized and it's on the blockchain. The blockchain is the audit system of every transaction that will take place in the world. And every 10 minutes, it'll do a global audit for everybody to see, so that there'll be complete transparency in all transactions of goods and services that are exposed in the world. And it'll work coherent with the fiat system at the present time, because we can't just close down the fiat system and just eradicate it overnight. It's just not possible, because a lot of people depend on fiat currency to exist, because they don't know anything about computers, they don't know about transactions, digital transactions. They don't know how to do it. They don't have a phone. There's only got like 4.6 billion people have phones, but like two 2.4 billion are in extreme poverty, but they have a phone because it's like a cool thing to do to have a phone. But the rest of the world don't know how to use this. So in the meantime, we're going to work with the fiat currencies. And the new system will interact with both. So certain people on the planet will go to exchange currencies and bonds that they've been given that will be on the new system. And these funds will be allocated to help eradicate poverty, to help eradicate diseases, and to rebuild the world. That's what's going to happen. And
now, these are bonds. Excuse me for interrupting. These are bonds that have been given to us, or yes, ones that we already have. Okay.
Yeah. You'll all know when you go to exchange. When you go to exchange, you receive your emails, or you receive a letter at your door handed to you. There'll be specific instructions for you to arrive at a certain place at a certain time. If you wish to have security or something like that, it'll be all provided for you. There'll be wealth managers there as well to assist anybody that needs assistance in wealth. They don't know anything about it, but we all know that their heart is in the right place. So we know these funds that are being allocated to people, they're going to use them for the right causes. The government refuses to use these funds for the people. They just refuse. They don't want the people to have the collateral accounts. The collateral accounts is for the people, not for them. They're using them for themselves, for their own agendas. And this is stopped. They have no access to the accounts anymore. So we're ready now to go into the phase 2 and to exchange. Now people already have exchanged. There's a lot of people who have exchanged, but they exchange under a non-declared, and they've gone for the lower rate. And non-disclosure, they can't talk about it to the exchange. They're keeping it a secret. But it's on the lower rate. On exchange on the higher rate, disclose their exchange if they wish to do so, and they'd be allocated to a wealth manager if they feel that they need a wealth manager. Some of us don't. Everybody will, like I said, will have an unconditional basic income based on, let's say, American dollars, $1,200 per adult per month, and $600 per child per month. And as a child reaches 17, I think it is 17 and a half or 18, they receive the $1,200 a month for the rest of your life. And you can work 3 days a week.
Oh, you could work if you want, or if you don't want to. Depends what your living style is.
Some people can't work, because they're whatever, in the situation. Some people need to recover, need time to recover from the suffering that they went through. many years. Can't just step into work because they got they got a break, but they will eventually when they're recovered and healed. What they're going to do is we want people to express their creativity. And that means if someone is happy to go down and help an old woman get dressed, comb her hair, and make her feel good, well, let him. That's what he wants to do 3 days a week. Let him. If someone wants to go down and he feels happy, baking bread, I really like baking bread, let him bake bread. And this is what's going to be expressed by everybody because most of the people in the world are being suppressed into doing nothing because they have no way of doing it.
Yeah. So is there any exchange back and forth from that? I mean, I have several questions here, but I only want to do one at a time. So is there any exchange? So if you go down to a baker and you help out a baker, is there any energetic exchange with that?
Every time you do a transaction, the transactions are tokenized. So every time you do a transaction, you get a token. So there's always something coming back at you when you give something out. So the new financial system will be the opposite of the old. It will be based on giving, not taking, based on giving.
Love
And
that.
the more you give, the more tokens you get back, the more tokenized you are. So you'll always have extra energy, always, because it's energy. It's based on energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people will have a
So
different attitude.
go ahead. I'm
They'll have a
sorry.
different attitude. They'll have a different
Yeah.
attitude. Instead of saying, "Oh, I made 10, 100 grand today," I did this sort of like scenario and I filled them and I got the money. I'm delighted. I'm so Mister. No, it's going to be changed. It's going to, I actually helped out so many people today. I'm delighted. And they're not going to care about what they got back. They're going to care about they actually helped these people that really needed help. That's the way it's going to change because the negativity is going to be gone.
Yeah.
And the fear.
I love
Yeah.
that. So then is there going to be a main banking, a world bank, or is there going to be somehow like because I know you talked about a card, so that card's going to have to go into something, or
Oh,
how does that work?
it'll be into the system, be integrated into the actual banking system. But the bank won't be a bank, it'll be a treasury.
Uh,
You'll just switch it around. They'll switch it around, which is supposed to be. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a treasury for the people under the accounts.
right.
And everybody will have their unconditional basic income. And whatever funds they have, whatever work they've done over their lifetime, they'll keep all that. They'll keep everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Will there be any of the, well, I guess I'm assuming, or I shouldn't say assuming, but at the banks, of course, they're going to have people that are there that are of the light because I can't imagine we're going to this place where, like you said, it's a pretty pure place. So if anybody with ill intentions will not be um, in that field.
Yeah. Well, this is what's been played out in the last year. A lot of ill intentions from the bankers, and they've tried everything to stop what's been happening. Now,
You're breaking up. Oops. He kind of froze. We'll wait till he comes back on. Thank you, everyone who's been joining so far. We appreciate that. And thank you for your comments. Hopefully he'll come back on here. So I don't know if everybody's listening, so I'll wait till he comes back in. We were talking about in the very beginning about how we were controlled by the governments and ways that have been controlled, which is, just sure all that are watching have ideas of how this has been doing through language, through TV, through foods. We know the chemtrails and things like that. We also talked about, oh, here he is. Okay, you're back. Well, maybe he's not back. Oh, gosh. I'll continue on until we actually hear him come back on. We talked about that we are stepping into mastering our own mastering sovereignty within ourselves, that we've always had that prime creator. When he created us, we were all created for this purpose of us, having this energy sovereignty over ourselves, that no one really had control over us, and that's where this whole programming and controlling has come in, where they've taken all that from us, and we are going back to that, which is what Prime Creator has actually originally wanted us um, to be anyway, and like he was saying, the creativity and being able to do good works, the humanitarian aspect, to really see the planet. So we're going to be given this money to be able to help people, not for our own greed, to live where we want to live and things like that, but it's not for selfishness. And we talked about how this mastering our own sovereignty is, one, recognizing that you are giving your fear away, that we are controlled, and we will see the fruits of that, so to speak, as these indictments come out and as more things are revealed, through what's happening with these energies and with the banking systems, which we're all seeing this anyway, but we will be seeing more of that. So from my understanding, what he's been saying so far is that this transition with these energies that are really coming in, this fourth dimension and going to the fifth dimension of Christ consciousness, but we have to, and Lord Sananda is the one that's going to be peeling away these layers, so to speak, to get to the core essence, to our own divinity. But it'll be sort of where he's saying that we'll wake up one day and, it's just going to be different. We're not going to be thinking negative anymore. But I feel that it's still for us to be doing our part, right? Into staying out of the fear, like he's mentioning. And, I had talked to him yesterday about governmental issues. The government, the banks, your credit cards and things like that. Those are all corrupt. And we have been feeding into that all of our life. We've been programmed and controlled for a fear base. If we don't do this, if we don't do that, we're going to be in trouble and, whatever, but legally, and it's in the Constitution that if there's anything that's corrupt, we are not to be a part of that. So I'll just say that much on that. But, I hope you can come back. Sorry. So we talked about taking back your authority, basically, and not giving your energy away. Never, ever, ever giving your energy away, and manifest. He said we'll be able to manifest, kind of like he said, if you want a glass of water, you go get a glass and you fill it with water and you have the water. It's how it's going to be. Are you back, Anthony? It sounds like he's trying to come back on. If there's any other questions, pop them up on there and I'll try and answer as to what we've talked about so far. And I talked in length with him yesterday for about 3.5 hours about all of this. And I'm telling you guys, like, this is, for all those that are watching, this, that we know that we've been programmed and controlled, but there's this conditioning of this fear, but yet we're trying to step out of that, And I know most of you light workers who are helping raising this energy totally have really stepped out of that completely, where, I was still caught in that fear and that conditioning of being in fear, and letting them control, right? And so now what he's really saying is that it's stepping into our divinity, our mastering of our sovereignty. And he can't, say that enough, that it really is important that we do that. Let's see, he did talk about oh, there you are. Okay. He's back.
I have left.
I just kind of, yes, you were gone. And I just kind of filled in where I just kind of recapped of what we've talked about for anybody that was just now joining us. And so if you can go back. Yes.
So where are we going back to?
Gosh, I had asked about the banking system. Oh gosh, because I talked about it so much now, I'm trying to think where I even left off. Um, I kind of want to go back to the banking system, that there's not going to be a bank, so that is there going to be a world bank, and you said it's going to be a treasury, and I was saying that there really can't be anybody working in there who is not of the light. It's just
Oh,
not going to
absolutely.
work.
Yeah, absolutely. But most of the staff is being trained about the new quantum financial system and the changeover and you see, the blockchain is doing the audits. So the audits that are being done on a global scale of the big institutions and corporations and banking systems are being dropped because they're falsified. And the new quantum financial system will be correctly auditing every big major company. And these big major companies falsify their accounts by buying up their own stock and having this major, huge company that no one owns but themselves. So they're falsifying everything. So as they falsify these things, and the new financial system drops the audit, then the system has to close because it's false. It has no tangible reality. It's complete lies. So this is what's happening, and as this is happening, this is called the domino effect. The dominoes started to literally drop everywhere, and then the new system kicks in. So the institutions that are not really doing anything for anybody will just cease to exist. They'll just foreclose very, very quickly. And the treasuries, the banks will be transferred into treasuries. And these treasuries, the banking system will be all connected to the quantum financial system. Nobody will be able to access any funds without accessing their DNA through the system. That's the way it's going to work. So be a huge explosion of wealth on the planet, basically, for everybody.
So will that mean
To
also the credit card companies are also going away as well?
there'd be nil avoid. You vote because the Jubilee debt will be forgiven, be wiped completely because the people don't owe the money. Owns the money. They owe all that money,
Right,
not the people.
right,
They gave it out to the people. The people don't
right.
own it. The people have paid back the money. I don't know. I think it's 68 times they paid it back from what they borrowed, but they still owe the money because
Right.
they have been given derivatives on top of derivatives, which they first of all they stole your wealth. That's the first thing, which people don't
Yeah.
understand. They stole your wealth when you came into the world, because you birthed it into the world. So it's like an on international waters when a cargo ship comes into a port of land. The captain has to declare his goods on the ship, and when you declare the goods on the ship, these goods are taxed on the value that you're bringing into the land. And this is how it works. So when you birth the canal, it's called birthing into the canal. So when you birth into your canal and you come out, then you're birthing into the world with energy, because you have to understand everything is energy. Everything is energy. There's nothing that's not energy. There's energetic energy and there's physical energy. So what they done was they stole your energy and they used it for themselves. And then they put derivatives on top of derivatives on top of derivatives. So all this is going to collapse overnight. It is actually collapsing as it is. But people can't see that because they're too caught up in their main mundane life. They've no time to be, figuring out things because they have to be on time every minute to be there and to, be home and to cook dinner and, you know, they're
Yeah.
on a time schedule every single
Yeah.
day. And then they
It's
get a day
changing.
off. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and they're programmed to age, to get old. They're programmed to live in a system that you be productive for them, and then you die, and you recycle and come back again, do the whole thing again. This is the
Yeah.
way they've done it. It's all going to change. It's all going to stop. You're going to get your dividend. Yeah, exactly. Yoo-hoo. It's yoo-hoo for us, but not yoo-hoo for them,
No.
because they have
Well, karma,
control for a very, very long time. Very, very long time. 300,000 years. It's a very, very long time,
Yeah.
And they're finding it very hard to let go of power. That's why the Brentics, Theresa May in England is trying to do a deal. There's no deal. The deal was already put into national law. They don't want to give up their sovereignty of rule over the others. So
This is the royal family. This is the royals, right over. You're talking about how they're involved.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, because they're the ones that are going to be exposed to the truth, and they're trying to save themselves by getting the people to give their consent on what they want to do. The people ain't giving the consent, so they don't know what to do
Good.
now. They ain't gonna
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
So we're hoping. I'm going to say this to everybody. We're hoping to get your blessings out before the date that you know of Christmas Day. So I hope you'll all have your blessings before that
would be,
time comes.
yeah.
That's what we're hoping as quick as possible.
That would be awesome. Well, and I want to ask, because we talked about yesterday, there's two questions I have here. One is where the money's coming from, because I think it's important to mention that we talked about the Vatican, how it, with all the money, where's all this money coming from? And then two, we talked about the 6 million when we were born. So I guess let's go back to whichever one came first.
Okay, so the collateral accounts is accounts that have been accumulating over back since the dawn of time through gold-backed assets, minerals, and that are stored on the planet all over the world. One of the richest countries in the world is Zimbabwe because of its mineral wealth that it has. It has tons of gold, it has tons of diamonds, it has tons of jewels, it has also other raw materials that are very important for the planet. The bonds will be backed up by this type of wealth. The second is collateral accounts that have been kept for the Vatican has been in charge of these collateral accounts for humanity when humanity was ready to receive these accounts. But the Vatican never wanted humanity to have this wealth because they wanted to stay in power and to control humanity in their satanic ways. Now, there is also Saint Germain and Mother Gaia's, Mother Earth's accounts, which is 4 quadrillion each. So that's 8 quadrillion that will be in the quantum financial system that will back it up by real gold. They have real gold off the planet that has been mined all over the universe. So this gold will be given certificates to every single human being on the planet, which will give you your unconditional basic income for the rest of your lives. The collateral accounts that are being stored in certain accounts, offshore accounts, have been discovered in the last couple of years and have been exposed. There's a couple of 100 trillion in these accounts. And this money alone could just reverse everything overnight and get the planet back and the people back into shape where they originally started from. So it was a base, in the beginning, the meetings were, yeah, okay, we'll agree to that. And then when they walked away, they said, well, look, do you know what? We have free will. We do what we want, and there's nothing you can do about it. So when free will, when Heavenly Father gave all the sovereignty over to Lord Sananda changed the free will. So now they try to play games on a new free will, and that's why they're trying to make deals under contracts. Because if they get the people to agree on their contract of the new deal that they want to make under their sovereignty, then there's nothing they can do about it. But this is not going to happen because the people are waking up. They understand the globalists. They understand these people are not there for the good of and have the best intentions for everybody. They're there for their own intentions, and people are waking up to this. So they're not going to give their consent anymore to these institutions. So the institutions will just literally fade out by themselves. Like if you're trying to get hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people to agree on what you're saying, and they're all agreeing, and you got this massive, following, millions of people following and agreeing with you, then you have tangibility and success. But if you're trying to do this and no one's listening to you, and everybody's, are not paying attention to your nonsense, then you don't have any tangibility whatsoever to succeed. This is basically what's happening. Yeah. So it's the people that is doing this. We're helping as well, but the people themselves are standing up to them for themselves now. They see the difference, and this is how it's going to come about, as well as bringing in Astro, and arresting the people with the indictments, because they made laws very specifically for themselves, so they couldn't be arrested, even if they were found out doing horrific crimes. No one could arrest them because they done it in a way where they could not be taken away. They were totally secure under their jurisdiction that they were in. But unfortunately, that has been revoked. So they will face their crimes they commit. Yeah.
It's important to know that. We do have a question from Angel. She wants to know if her savings, when all debts are erased, will the savings also be erased? And I can answer that, but no. Yes. So you'll keep those savings. So really everything that we've had in our account will stay in our account, and we will have added more in there from our energetic, what's the word I'm looking, what we were given from Prime Creator in the very beginning.
Yeah, you will receive it. A lot of people will receive it by monthly income, right. Because we don't want to inject the population with huge masses amount of money, because we feel that if we do that straight away, they'll do more harm to themselves than good, and they'll have everything they need. They won't have to worry anymore about how they're going to feed themselves, how they're going to have a home, because most of the things will be available to them freely. And the money and the funds is just a temporary thing. As we enter the fifth dimension of reality, everything will be accessible. Everybody will be able to access everything on the planet freely.
Yeah.
So because in the universe, we don't use money. Nobody uses money. We do things for the benefit of everybody, because you have to have the best intentions for all to access that type of energetic level. Mm-hmm. That's the way it works.
Yeah. So on the businesses that we have now, since we're still using the fiat currency, so how will the businesses, I guess everything will kind of fall, I just feel like everything will fall in place. Like it just feels like, the banking systems go to the treasury, the businesses like your grocery stores, your department stores, because people are still going to be buying things.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll work it'll coincide about with the fiat transactions and the crypto transactions. So let's say I have Bitcoin on my phone here. I got a new system. I got a quantum financial system on my phone, and I want to use Bitcoin. So if I go up to an ordinary credit card system and I pass my phone over, it'll automatically transfer into that currency of that particular price. So I'll transfer Bitcoin into fiat currency, into dollars, let's say, or English pounds or euro. It'll be transferred automatically to the correct fee. So the person will receive the fee in the currency that she wishes or he wishes to receive in. If he wishes or she wishes to receive in pounds, English pounds, then that currency will be put into their account in English pounds. Now, if they want to receive Bitcoin, it'll land in Bitcoin. They'll receive Bitcoin. That's how it'll work.
So then do you have to buy crypto? Do you have to buy the Bitcoin?
You'd be paid in Ripple.
Do you have to
You'd
buy
be
any of
paid.
those?
No, you'd be paid in
I'm
Ripple.
sorry?
Yeah, of course. You'd be paid. Will be paid in Ripple. Ripple will be the global currency. Litecoin will work in many different transactions, and Bitcoin will be the main player of the currency backed under the actual gold itself. And Ripple, everybody will be paid in Ripple. Ripple will be your income monthly, and then that will be stored into your account, and you'll be able to work off that in the immediate future for English pounds, US dollars. There will be a new US dollar that will only work in the USA, and it will be unlimited. The USA will have unlimited amount of funds for projects, infrastructure, and education, and healthcare, and all this type of stuff. And it'll boom, it'll blossom. It'll be one of the most magnificent places on the planet. Will be the United States, because that's where it'll start, and that's where the fallen fathers, if you like, happened. So they will be restored to its original state of its constitution, which has already happened. So right now, the United States of America is completely sovereign. It has nothing to do with any corporation anymore. So the Trinity, the old Trinity, cannot siphon the funds from the United States anymore. That's why Trump was going around to each country and going to the European Union and say, look, you got to pay for what you're asking here. You know, you just take and take and take and take. You're not paying for anything. So now it's time for us to take the money back and to make our constitution back to its original state of what it was made in the first place. So that's what happened. That's all gone back now, and the money's gone back into the United States. So the original United States dollar that you have now today all around the world will not exist anymore. It'll be completely eradicated from the outside of the USA. So the dollars that are used in Africa instead of the African currency will no longer exist in Africa, because the dollar won't have that power anymore over other nations. And the dollar was really for other nations to be put in poverty, because they could not sell their goods, if it was oil or other resources, without selling it through the dollar. They had to buy it with the dollar, and that's why the dollar took over power all over the world. This is going to be revoked, and the people in their country will have their own sovereign state currency, and that currency will be forfeited to the people on a quota. Every country has a quota that will be given under their national law, and that quota will be given for the actual, the actual quota of the GDP of each country.
Amazing. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned about Zimbabwe. So what about the people, because we talked about that yesterday, the Zims, the dinar, the dong, those notes that people have purchased, those are still valid?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. And the reason why they're valid is because the resources of the actual country that is giving the credit, the bond, that they are backing up the bond under the resources they have in their country. Now, these countries have been suppressed by the cabal to extreme poverty, and they have been controlling their sovereignty. This is how they've been stealing the wealth of these countries, and this wealth is going to be given back to their sovereign country, and their sovereign note will be displayed, and it'll be backed up by digital gold digital certificates, and it'll be based on their GDP of wealth.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you mentioned they were one of the largest, richest countries. It's pretty profound. It's pretty amazing.
Just say
so we pretty much talked. So, and then new free rules. So, is there anything? I'm excited. That's all I want to say. I'm totally excited. Is there anything that you have to? Yes, yes. Did you want to mention that date that you had gave me? I know you said that before December 25th, we're going to be surprised. Yes. With this whole financial.
Okay. The beings, the Angelican beings, and the people who are working with them, they're trying their utmost best to have this before that particular date. They want to get it done as quick as possible. There has been problems, and there has been glitches, and there has been certain groups and certain people that are making everything difficult for everybody. Try and stall, trying to stall it as much as possible, so they come up with some idea from somewhere to stay in power. But they're coming to the realization right now that that's not going to happen, and they're going to have to give in. So we're hoping. So today is the 10th. So we got 15 days to try and make this happen, to get it on a global scale for the exchange, not for everybody for the exchange. Anybody who has bonds, SIM bonds, notes, Donner or whatever, Dong or whatever, to go and exchange. Because they're the angels, they're the light workers, they're the ones that are going to put the money out in the world. They're the ones that are going to use the money for the projects, because the governments will refuse to do this until we take out these governments completely. And that's happening all over the world right now. A lot of governments are resigning. A lot of people, high people in high places, they're resigning. There's a few left. Israel, he's going to resign, he's going to go to prison. And the people who do go to prison, they're not going to come out of prison. Not going to come out of prison because they're pedophiles. And you know what happens to a pedophile when he goes to prison. So that's basically what's going to happen. Yeah. Yes. So,
I wanted to ask you, I told you I had some of the Zims, and, so that they say 80% of those funds should go to humanitarian projects, but to charity organizations. So will there be new organizations, or I guess we'll just kind of know the different organizations to give to? Because, some of those organizations now that I have on there may not be legit by the time all this happens.
Well, there's no charity organization that's legit. It doesn't exist. Because a charity organization, it was formed by the cabal. So if I collect, let's say, 100,000 euros or 10,000 euros for charity, I only have to give them 1,000 euros. I can keep the 9,000. That's the deal. That's what everybody does. All charities in the world only give 10% of what they get to the charity. They keep the rest, and it's tax-free. So every charity on the planet, you imagine now for a minute that we got together all the charities that have existed for the last, just let's say, 10 years, okay? And we got them all together, and we say, well, guys, now you've all generated massive amount of funds, like nearly 3 or 4 trillion. What have you done with the funds? They wouldn't be able to tell you.
Thank you.
Because they keep the fund. for themselves. They don't have to give it to charity. By law, they only have to give 10% of what they
Right.
make, and the rest they. So all charities in the world are false, completely false. And they do, like, if you look up the CEO of charities, how much wages they're having
Yeah.
every year, it goes into hundreds of thousands. Hundreds of thousands. These guys are supposed to be picking people up off the street that are starving, that have spent a long time of real suffering. They need to recover. They need time to recover. They need hospital treatment. They need a lot of things to recover, to regain strength,
Yeah.
to come back to a dignified human being.
Yeah.
None of these things have ever happened. So all charities, never go and run and give your money to charity. You just throw it away because they're not going to do anything. It's the same with the
Right.
governments. It's the exact same thing. Governments are not there for the people. They're there for
Yeah.
themselves. Why do you think we're all in the situation we're in?
Yeah.
Because they're there for themselves. It's all about ego, control, and power.
Yeah.
They don't care about people. The people elect them because the people think they have freedom of choice. They don't. They could choose which soda they want, which type of poison they want. They could choose that, but they don't have any real knowledge of what's going on because they have been lied to,
Yeah.
completely and utterly lied to for so long through the education system, through the medication system, through the religions, culture, everything. And the old ways when things were at one time really good, they got rid of these people. They got
Right.
rid of the people that do stuff. So this is all going to be exposed, big
Yeah.
time exposed.
Yeah.
So very shortly
Awesome.
now, you're going to see in the news things that are coming out. So
Yeah.
it's really good news for everybody.
Awesome. Well,
There you go.
is there anything that you want to say to one last thing that you want to impress upon the listeners or say to the listeners or the people that are watching, the people that are going to be listening after this?
Okay, well, on that, a last note would be for everybody to stay in your heart. This is really important. You need to stay in your heart, meaning that you need to think from here,
Yeah.
not from here, because this is where your divinity is. This is where your power is, your sovereignty. You're a god, you're a goddess. You have to understand that,
Mm.
and you need to act upon it. Act
Yeah.
upon it. Connect to your divine higher self. Know that it's there. Know that all this is real. It's all very, very real. And the more you love yourself, the more you come to realize who you are as a person, as a
Yeah.
divine being.
Yeah.
That's what I
I
have.
love that. Oh. Well, thank you so
So
much,
many
Anthony,
blessings.
for being.
Blessings. You're all very welcome. And we will continue now into the fourth dimension of reality. And we
Yes.
will show you all how to step into your divinity.
Beautiful. I love it. Well, thank you again, and
Oh, yeah.
thank you for everyone who watched today, who listened today, who comment, and for anyone who'll be joining us afterwards because it will be recorded and it'll be, as you know, it's up on Facebook. So thank you again, Anthony, and thank you everybody who joined in, who'll be joining in later. Love you.
Thanks for having me, Linda. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you.
Love you all. Bye.
Bye.